Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, for those who don't know the situation, Trevor Bauer, a couple of years ago when he was with the Dodgers, was accused by a woman in San Diego of choking her out and physically abusing her during a sexual liaison. Trevor Bauer, for his part, said that the liaison was completely consensual and actually provided a text exchange in which the discussion was had about him choking her during sex.
Now we don't know that for sure that it's
that was evidence that he provided to Major League Baseball in the arbitration hearing. He provided his text messages between he and her. What we didn't know until yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's proof. I mean, how do we know it's her at the other end of the text?
Well, listen, I'm sure MLB investigators did all of their due diligence. Right. To your point, I don't.
Well, but they did, and they still suspended him. So,
they suspended him, but if you remember, as soon as the arbitration hearing was off, they lifted the suspension.
They did.
Because they realized, in legal terms, oops, he made a mistake.
He has video evidence, too.
So now he does. Too. So I don't want to get too far off the beaten path.
Okay, go ahead.
And there's another woman who's alleging very similar activities.
Well, there's 4 accusations, and there were 2 lawsuits. Now it's down to 1.
Yes. And no charges. The San Diego the LA prosecutor's office and the police department looked into the allegations. There was absolutely no proof of any wrongdoing. In fact, the woman in San Diego asked for a restraining order, and the judge denied her request. Now, and he makes this point in the video, that's almost never done. If there's even a hint that there was anything going on, the judge always errs on the side of restraining order. They didn't issue that. Trevor Bauer then was banished to Japan. He pitched in Japan last year where he had a solid year, finished 11-4, ERA around 2.75, I think.
2.96. Just
2.96,
sub 3,
below 3.
But sub 3.
But a good season by any metrics. And now he's finally, the lawsuits have both been dropped. He dropped his against her. She dropped his against him.
He does still have another lawsuit pending.
There is another lawsuit pending, which he is asked to be dismissed. It hasn't been ruled on yet. This is the video that Trevor Bauer dropped yesterday, and I think at one point it was it was in the millions of views.
4.2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So watch this video. It's about 2 minutes, I think, and then we'll have a discussion on the backside.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. "What should I steal?" she asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? "I'm going to his house Wednesday," she said. "I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll." Then, after the first time we met, "Net worth is 51 mil, she said. "Bitch, you better secure the bag," was the response. But how was she going to do that? "Need daddy to choke me out," she said, "being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, "You got to get this bag." "I'll give you 50,000, Lindsey replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, "Do you feel a tiny bit guilty?" "Not really," she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsey Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsey Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us. Yeah. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place. Now, some of you might not know about restraining order hearings. I know I didn't, but I've since learned that it's extremely rare for a request for a restraining order to be denied because the standard of proof that you need to obtain one is extremely low. So you can make of that what you will. The fact is, I was never arrested. I was never charged with a crime, and I won the only legal proceeding that took place without my side of the story even being heard. And most importantly, as I've said from day one, I never sexually assaulted Lindsay Hill, or anyone else for that matter. So I sued her, which prompted her to countersue me. Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsay Hill could ever pay me in her entire life. And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name. The discovery process in that lawsuit recently concluded, at which point Lindsay Hill's legal team again came to us with another proposal to resolve the case. This time, however, they weren't seeking any money from me. Having received much of the information that had been hidden from us, a small portion of which I've referenced here, I was willing to agree to the terms proposed. Both parties would drop their respective lawsuits, and neither of us would pay either side any money. I also retained my right to speak publicly about the case, something I have not been at liberty to do since June of 2021. So, as of today, both lawsuits have been settled. Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so, as I'd prefer to just remain focused on doing my job, winning baseball games and entertaining fans around the world. So today, I'm happy to be moving on with my life. Next.
Wow, thoughts?
I mean, if everything he's saying is true, then I think there should be. Now, again, I don't know that everything he's saying is true.
No, but we'll operate under the assumption that he is, because in all likelihood, and I don't either.
Well, that's what we said about all the accusations initially. In all likelihood, most accusations are true.
Well, I never said that.
I don't believe that.
No, I never said that.
We ain't never
I
said
don't believe
Yeah,
that.
no,
Most
I never
accusations
never
are true.
said that.
Well, that is true. Most people that accuse somebody of domestic violence, it happens. There are facts.
Here's the danger that and we've heard this,
Yeah.
and a part of this was on the backside of the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
All women must be believed.
Yep,
All women must be believed.
I hate
that was a
phrase.
mantra.
They was printing that.
And listen, I'm not here to bash a woman or to support a man or vice versa. What I'm saying is, when there is money involved and there is potential gain of finances, people do some crazy things. Yeah. And you've been around the professional circuit, and I'm not going to go into details here, but you know that there is a bit of a cottage industry of women who are targeting professional athletes for financial gain. Yes. Am I wrong?
That is a fact.
I've spoken to many. You're friends with many.
Yeah.
The stories
That's a fact.
are abhorrent, and it taught me at a very early age, because my inclination, Bull, was where you were. I believe women. I'm sorry, I do.
Well, I don't always believe.
Right, and I think
but
that
the reality in the grand scheme of the world is that most accusations are true.
we don't know that. We don't
Yes,
know
we
what
do.
percentage of them are
stats
true.
will tell you that the police data states that has said that most people that accuse anybody, not athletes necessarily, all people, that by and large it's true.
So here's the problem with that, with the generalization statement.
Yeah.
And I believe that nobody was malicious when they said all women must be believed. It was a product of the times we were living in. This was on the edge of the Me Too movement, and there was a stretch when all a woman had to do is make an accusation, and it stuck.
Well,
and the danger in that is for your comment to be applied here, all accusers are right, and that can't be said. I mean, we clearly know there have been women that have come out and admitted afterwards, I made a mistake.
And there's also been a lot of men who have gotten away with
1,000%.
that too.
But I think what happened in this case was, and Trevor Bauer has some different ways. Interesting human being. Not someone I would be friends with. Things that I have heard put me in line to believe some of the things that were being said about him. But the danger in doing that, and the media should have known better, because we went down this road with Duke Lacrosse. They were tried, convicted, hung at the stake, and then all of a sudden the accuser came out and said, I made it up.
My bad.
And what happens is reputations are smeared and lives are ruined. Yep. And in this case, now that we have more information, and again, we do have to operate on the assumption that this evidence he shows is true.
He didn't show. Did he show evidence?
He showed screenshots.
I mean, we don't. You don't know for sure that's real.
We don't. But
here's what he's
someone
saying.
has vetted that.
Hold on.
A court vetted it.
A court looked at it.
Yes,
you know
they
that?
did. Yes, they did.
He just said he threw it out.
Well, just because he said the court vetted it doesn't mean
the evidence that was allowed to be heard in the original case where they were trying to get a restraining order, he provided. Now, he didn't provide the text message that they got through discovery in the lawsuit. The mistake she made was she filed a suit against him.
And he would have
once that happened, now discovery is at issue. Now they got her phone.
The bottom line of the conversation is yes, and you're right. We shouldn't always jump to conclusion when a player is accused. Now, he still has another lawsuit. We'll see what happens with that.
He does.
It does appear in this particular case that he was railroaded. I still don't think we know that with 100% certainty, but it does appear that way.
But here's my thing. This is the thing.
Yeah.
All we know is the allegation from her. He has come out and put out all this information, and the only thing we know from her is the allegation. Why is the mountain on him to prove his innocence when all she said was a word? Now I got to go look through he got timestamps, metadata, videos.
Well, he says
I just saw the video of him laying next to her.
You didn't see the metadata. You didn't see.
No, we saw the video. That's metadata. But that's video that they were discovered from her phone in discovery. Yeah. And when they saw that video, they immediately said, well, where are the bruises? They never had physical contact after that video. Right. She got up out of bed after taking that video and left the room and immediately filed her motions. So they never physically came into contact. So what we know for sure is her claims that she was physically beaten in the face.
That was a lie.
We know that's not true because I don't know how that could have happened with leaving no bruises. She didn't appear to be abused. She was smiling. She was surreptitiously videotaping him while he was sleeping in his own bed.
And guess what? The system is messed up, and I'm mad at this a little bit too. You lucky he had money. He had enough money to defend himself, to actually go in there and say, you know what? I'll defend my name and go through all these court cases. And the smile she had on her face was, you know what? Society, you guys are fools. Because I could get away with this, and the only thing that happened to her, guess what? We'll just drop the cases. Do you know people?
She actually got $300,000 in some sort of settlement.
Yeah, not from him.
Not from him. But
yeah, I don't know what. You know what? I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
Did she actually take out an insurance policy?
I don't know what.
In the event she was ever abused by a pro athlete?
What's happened is, and this happens too often this happens in sports all the time, right? We have a coach that's soft-spoken and calm. Next, we want a coach that's all the way to the extreme the other way.
Right.
So for most of the history of the United States, women were taken advantage of, crapped on, abused, and nothing was ever done about it.
Right.
And finally, the Me Too movement, I'm not going to say ended that, because of course it didn't.
It put a spotlight on that kind of behavior.
It put a spotlight on it, and it gave women a voice, and it made them stronger together.
Right.
And in general, in most cases, that's a good thing. However, as is always the case with everything else, it's taken to the extreme the other way.
Correct.
To the point where you can never say an accuser sounds fishy. You can't. There's no. I remember Matt Damon once was being interviewed once. And he said, oh, well, touching somebody's cheek is not as bad as raping someone. And people were like furious with him for saying that.
Sure.
And I'm like, there's levels to this thing.
There are levels to it.
Touching a woman's cheek, while it may be inappropriate, is not the same thing as raping
all
someone.
Depends on what cheek you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that part out.
I said, is it this cheek?
But one is inappropriate, one is criminal.
But when you accuse, you got to understand something. When you accuse somebody of rape, people can die behind that.
Yeah.
Like
and she should be.
No. He can go to jail, and when you get to jail, there's two things they don't play with: rape and child molestation. Now, here's my thing: you can't Trevor Bauer. It don't matter what he say now. He is always going to be known as a person who allegedly raped somebody. It doesn't go away, and I don't understand how it's okay for you to say that, walk away, and then nothing happened. They need to start putting people in jail. If it is found out that you are lying about something that serious, you're going to jail. And they need to put that out so every other people look around and say, if you want the money that bad, are you willing to risk your freedom for it? If you want to set somebody up, because it's out of hand. You don't get a free pass from that. I even tell myself, don't never, as a black man, claim somebody is racist if you know it ain't true. Because they got to wear that scarlet letter. They got to wear it. Don't be saying that stuff because that'll ruin somebody's career in life because you insecure and emotional. Don't do that. There's certain things you can't play with, and I need them to make an example in these courts that you don't play with that type of stuff.
I agree. If it is proven that there's a fault. Now, what we don't want to do is get to the point where now women are once again scared to make an accusation when it's real.
But Bull, that's a great point. Right. But when someone does this,
right,
to that level,
they should be.
It breaks the system because for the people that actually are abused, that don't know what really happened between her and Trevor Bauer, they may look at this and say, well, there's another victim that wasn't listened to and believed, even though she wasn't a victim. And that might keep them from coming forward.
And if it can be proven in court that she lied just to get money out of him, then I 100% think she should go to jail. No doubt about it.
I think that's
something like that happened with the punk god, right? Wasn't the punk god?
Oh, his career. Where is he?
Done.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah, he is.
His nickname was the punt god. He has been exonerated.
Wasn't even there.
There was video evidence that proved he wasn't there when she said this happened. Yet, where is he? Did anybody pick him up?
Somebody.
He's still a free agent.
Guess what's going to happen to Trevor Bauer next year? Who's going to be the team to step up and sign him?
And my thing like this too.
Nobody.
Because it's such a big PR thing.
Sure it is.
What I would say about Bauer, though, is because he still has another case pending, I don't think team.
No,
it's with anybody.
Yeah, all I know is about this case. I don't know about the other case. He'll have to go get that adjudicated.
Yeah.
My thing, y'all work for outlets all the time, and
this was the one he was punished for. This one.
Because of
Major League Baseball looked into this one, and they erred, and they kept him from being able to do his job. In the United States of America, a man was accused of doing something that he's now proven didn't happen, but for it, he not only lost his job and upwards of $30 million, he's likely lost any future earnings that he might have had. He had a $100 million contract voided.
Think about it. He can't be an analyst.
No, he's pariah. Even though he didn't do anything, he's a pariah.
It's over.
He wasn't going to be able to do any of that stuff anyway, but he did.
He was able to pitch for $100 million.
Hey, listen, in the end, it's a messed up situation.
I think that the cautionary tale is, and I preach this to young journalists, sometimes there is evidence that is put forth that make us look at it and say, oh,
that looked crazy.
Well, I know what happened there. Now, I also think, too, I got a text from a friend yesterday that said, I guess it wasn't true. I still want it to be true. Now, this person is not in media, so I don't expect that person to use the bar that we use.
Yeah.
The bar we use has to be far, far more discriminate. But there was an error, an aura around Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
The dating rules that he put out. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Any man that loves women, mom, wife, girlfriend, daughters, that read that, wanted to vomit. I felt like I needed to take a shower.
He's still disgusting.
He
bullies people online.
Here's what he is.
Yeah.
He might be creepy.
He's a bully.
He might be a bully.
Yeah.
He might be disgusting.
Yeah.
And he might be misogynistic. I don't know that, you can make a case for all of those things.
Yeah.
However, what he's not is a rapist. And he has to wear that hat the rest of his life now. And that's where we have to be very careful. And I thought that the Duke lacrosse case was going to be the epicenter of when the media started to be careful and not run loose with facts and what they wanted the truth to be. Sometimes the media runs with the narrative of what they want and not what is true. And in the prosecution of the district attorney from Durham.
And he went to jail.
He went to jail for what he did because what he did was criminal. He, like her attorney, hid evidence that would have exonerated the defendants. And the lawyer, one of the lines the lawyer used in the defamation case, which they won, again, when he was representing the Duke lacrosse players, he used this line. And by the way, this was in the early throes of Google and the internet. But he read the 14 names or whatever they were, and this was very powerful. After it, he said, for the rest of their lives, when you Google these names, it's coming up that they were involved in the Duke Lacrosse case, the Duke Lacrosse rape case, which never happened.